Yes. Perfect.
Let people come in, and I'm also going to make sure, I hope I do this every time because I have YouTube on my other screen so I can moderate my own chat, and I have to push pause, or no, I have to push silent, and I never do that. And so as soon as it comes in, you'll hear like
the conversation.
I'm like, oh, I forgot to.
Just hear yourself twice.
It's like, that's so disrespectful. Oh my goodness. Hi everybody. Welcome to Chakra Talk tonight. This February 10th. Don't give me, it's the 10th. I wrote it 14 times in the last hour. February 10th, 2021. We are getting ready to enter this. We're officially smack dab in the middle of Mercury Retrograde?
We are right in the middle. Yeah, we've got about 10 days left.
We're in the middle of retrograde. We picked tonight for a particular reason too, because we've got this new moon that is taking place. So new moon is great for setting new intentions, for purging. I always use it too as a way to purge other energies and whatnot. So this will be just kismet, so you'll get a lot. Excuse my sans makeup face, but I just had a facial, and the last thing I want to do is put on makeup.
No, you don't want to clog those open pores.
I don't want to clog the pores that I just my poor esthetician clogged. But we'll just give it just another minute while people are logging in. So Lauren, Mercury retrograde has stolen my ability to communicate. Like, I cannot talk. I can't.
That is exactly what Mercury retrograde does. It messes with communication, and that can be verbal, it can be technology, but it's just playing tricks on us all the time.
Mine is verbal.
Mercury is the trickster. Yeah.
It is very verbal. I am like, or my brain has the message, but my mouth cannot get it out. And I'm just like,
I totally feel you. Yeah. We gotta ride it out. And Mercury retrograde is all about reconsidering and revision and all that. So I always say, just take your time to sit with what comes up, and know that you'll have chances to reconcile in the future.
Exactly, Lauren. Because a lot of you people are new to Chakra Talk, and they're new to you. So I'm going to explain what Chakra Talk is, guys. Yes, we all love a good political reading. That's fine and dandy, but Red Lentil Healing is all about healing and giving. My mantra is, I want to demystify the energy healing experience. I don't want you to think that you've got to be butt naked in the woods with the name of Kiefer trying to learn how, that's just not how that works. It's a daily process, and the best way to do it is to demystify it, make it simple and digestible and easy. And if you think you hear chakra and your brain goes zzz, but if you go, I need to give and receive love more openly, you just talked about your heart chakra. It's as simple as that. So one of the commitments I made when I started this channel is to do a chakra talk. And so I have a very amazing, super talented friend, Lauren. Lauren I met Lauren many, many moons ago when I was a student at Dallas Yoga Center. She was one of my teachers. And so we just became friends, and she's now my co-host for Chakra Talk, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to put Lauren's link in Lauren's link to her channel is actually in the description, but I'm going to put it in the chat. Oh, again, I was about to say, I think Larry Girl did it, but here is the chat. Also, Lauren is an amazing astrologer. She doesn't give herself enough credit.
Thank you.
But I'm going to stop bragging about you, and why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. As always, I love being in this space with you, and I love that you said it's all about demystifying, because that is one of my key words for all of the things that I do. Is I'm trying to just break things down so that things don't seem so out of people's reach. And I think it's so important with healing tools to make them more accessible for everybody. And So in that, I am a yoga teacher, I am a meditation guide, I am a sound healer, I am an energy healer, and I am an astrologer, all these different things.
These amazing things.
Thank you. And the truth is that they all go together, even though they sound different. They're all about coming down to the energy, which is the chakra system that we're talking about. And that's really the base, the fundamental of what I do is all really based around that. And so sometimes with people, when they hear the word chakra and they get like weirded out, if I just say energy body, like that sometimes is more digestible. So
Yes.
like if that is easier for you, then like think about it that way. Like we have energy that we hold in certain parts of our body. And as we access different parts of that energy body, we can make parts more open, parts more toned down. And that brings just overall wellness, balance, healing, all those good things that we're both working on for people.
Yeah. For those of you guys who've purchased my products, they're made specifically with the chakra system in mind. You know, the meditation oil is blended with essential oils to tap into the third eye, into your crown chakra to help open. It's got root chakra to help ground you. So you didn't realize it, but you were getting a little Reiki, a little chakra healing.
It's the good part.
And it's for those of you guys who are not familiar with the chakra system, I'm just going to introduce it very quickly because I talk about it a lot in my readings, but I do not, I just do a very cursory discussion. But like Lauren was saying, this is your energetic body. It literally starts from the base of your spine or the bottom of your feet. Sometimes I like to tell people, and goes all the way to the top of your head. Starting with this bottom, this beautiful red color, that is your root chakra. Your root chakra is, tell everybody, Lauren.
The root chakra is where we ground energy in our body, but it's also where we connect to the earth. It allows us to feel grounded. It allows us to feel stable, helps us create that sense of abundance mindset where we don't feel like we're just like grasping for resources. We feel steady and stable in ourselves.
That is the root chakra. A lot of people, when they worry about finances, when they worry about community, family, physical health, a lot of that sits in your root chakra. Next chakra up is this beautiful orange color, this gorgeous orange color. That is your sacral chakra. For those of you guys who I think watched one of my lives and I said you need to do art, and I tried to say art and sacral chakra, and shart actually came out of my mouth.
How did I miss that?
This is your sacral chakra. It's located, root chakra, if you think about your feet, base of your spine. Your sacral chakra is located in your reproductive, right underneath your navel. What is the key with the sacral chakra, Lauren?
Our sacral chakra is our emotional center. It's where we house all of our different emotions. It's also our creative center, which is why you would be talking about art for that space, not short art. And when we access that space, it helps us to feel more in tune with processing, and allows us to feel our emotions and not get trapped by our emotions, allows us to create. Creation is all about the sacral. So that would be how you connect to there.
Yeah. I love this next chakra because it's one that a lot of clients I've worked with, myself included, when you have certain traumas really impact this chakra. And this is your solar plexus chakra. It is the color yellow. It is your house of fire, your house of action. It's located actually in your stomachs. Some people are lucky and they only have one stomach. Some people are like a little girthier like me and have 14 stomachs. What is it when we talk about a chakra being balanced, when it means it's the most optimal state? It's not, I use the word overcharged. Some people like the word blocked because chakras are actually a little vortex, but to make it more digestible, I tell people it's either over or undercharged. Yes. What is a perfectly charged solar plexus chakra?
So our solar plexus is all about.
I thought I said sacral chakra, and it was
no. Solar good. You got it right. Our solar plexus is all about feeling confident and feeling worthy of going towards our goals. So And overcharged, undercharged. Undercharged would be somebody who's insecure, who is lacking that like get up and go energy, who doesn't feel that sense of motivation or really the sense of confidence to go after their desires. Somebody who has that center as overcharged was our last president, maybe, like somebody who just, that's the first example that comes to my head, like somebody who is power hungry and can't ever get enough power and doesn't feel satiated with any level of power would be a significantly overcharged version.
Yep, that is absolutely spot on. And when you've been in an environment where you cannot express yourself, when you cannot make choices, when every choice, everything you do has a negative consequence, perceivably has a negative consequence, that really impacts your solar plexus chakra. Because what it does is it stunts, it makes you scared to take your personal power, to act, to do things. So that's why I always love your solar plexus chakra. That's also your house of intuition as well. Part of your intuition lives in your solar plexus chakra, but we're going to get back to that, and stay tuned. That's going to come up in a second. Going up, this green color is your heart chakra. Pretty simple. It's your ability to give love and receive love. What is the optimal balanced heart chakra, Lauren?
The optimal balanced heart chakra is somebody who is not just only pouring into other people, and it's not somebody who's just sucking other people's love without giving back. It's when you're able to, in an equal way, give and receive love, give and receive your time, attention, energy, all of that. That would be a balanced way of using your heart space.
Yep. I challenge Lauren's heart chakra often because she does not let people do things for her sometimes. And I'm always like, I need you to stop blocking my ability to give because your blocked heart chakra will not allow you to receive. Guys, often your heart chakra is your ability to give love without expectation and to receive love without feeling guilty. So that's your heart chakra.
You got me blushing. Even healers have work to do.
I literally was getting ready to say that. Healers, we have our own work to do too. We're not perfect. Going up is our throat chakra. I'm actually burning I made a throat chakra. I'm about to set my whole house on fire. Throat
do that.
Chakra card. Throat chakra. This beautiful blue color. I say I have a very healthy throat chakra because I cuss a lot. What jokes aside, what's the throat chakra, Lauren?
The throat chakra is our ability to communicate. So we have all of this energy in our body, and it's how do we express that into the physical world. So a balanced throat chakra is where we are able to speak clearly and able to express our true desires, but it's also about being able to listen and taking in others' perceptions so that we can have dialogue and conversation and not just be locked in our own loop of what we think is important.
Let me check the feed to see if she's watching before I talk about her. Okay, she's not. So I had a client, a regular client of mine. It was very interesting. I was doing a session with her and I said, and I think I've always noticed this about her, but never said it. She always has throat chakra issues. Always, always, always. And I told her, it's like, I love you, but you're a horrible listener. You talk a lot. You're great. She's always perceived it as her ability to communicate. So she spent a lot of time working on her ability to speak. I said, but so you need to listen. I was like, every time we talk, you never go, hey, how are you? And I was like, and I know that's not your heart. You're not a bad person. You're not mean. Right. And she was like, I've only had one person ever tell me that, and that's my husband when we get into a fight. And she's like, holy cow. And so now she's putting a lot of attention on listening to divine truth, listening to messages, balancing that ability to speak, to communicate, but listening as well.
Good for you for telling her. It's so important to have true people who care about you to point that out, because people won't receive that from the wrong person, but if it's somebody that you have that trust in, then you're able to take those messages to heart and recognize there has to be some truth to that. And
making sure I said it in a way that she could receive it. Because I was like, absolutely. I don't want to just be like, you talk too much. It was just like, I lovingly give this message.
Yes.
So, because she's such a beautiful, one of the most compassionate and loving people I've ever met. And I was like, nobody would know that just by glancing, just because of the listening. So,
Mm-hmm.
and she also is somebody who suffered from trauma. So her how she's balanced that in her adult life is to make sure she can express herself.
Yes.
So,
and I love how you
go ahead.
I love how you said that too. Sorry, was like, you know, the trauma in our lives is the key part of this, because sometimes it's actual trauma, sometimes it's perceived trauma, but this is where those patternings start in our energetic body, and we carry those into adulthood if we don't ever sit and consider how those things are affecting us, or you know, ways of growing and things like that.
Yep. We can go for hours on just the trauma and healing alone, because I've got like 22 personal stories. We're going to keep it moving. This beautiful purple color, and again, throat chakra, again, is obviously in your throat, but also in your ear. So this entire area here. Going up to the third eye chakra, this indigo color. It looks purple on this card, but it's indigo. That's your psychic senses. I always say it's your ability to receiving and perceiving information. How would you describe it?
Exactly like that. I mean, I think that's exactly it. It's being open to like downloading messages from your higher self. But not only that, but to me, it's also tapping into other people's energy is how I connect my third eye, where it's like I can receive what somebody's sending before they even say anything. Right. And I think when you're in tune in that space, you can just connect to people in a different way.
It's also too, that's when people say lucid dreaming. A lot of dreaming happens through your third eye, because it's literally that visual. It's connected to the brain. It's that all knowing and seeing. Remember I said our solar plexus chakra was going to come back. Your third eye, this psychic knowing, is also connected to your solar plexus. I say this often that I sound like a broken record when I do readings when we do political readings or just readings in general, because 9 times out of 10, if I get a card where somebody's got something going on in their solar plexus, they're going to have it in their third eye. Gut feeling. When everybody says I had a gut feeling about that, that's not an accident. Third eye and your stomachs are connected. When you are perceiving information and you act on what you perceive and receive, these help each other balance. When you don't act on information you get, they become disjointed. Don't be like me. A couple weeks ago, I woke up Monday the 18th to go to a dentist appointment. The first thing I heard actually, was, don't go. He's going to mess your mouth up. That's not exactly what it said. It had a little hood vernacular and a lot of cussing, but that's what it said. It said, and I was like, I don't know. I was brushing my teeth, getting ready to go. And it said, pay the cancellation fee. Don't go. He dug too deep in my mouth, and now I probably have to have a root canal.
Oh, no.
And I have been spending weeks apologizing to spirit, apologizing to myself, and working on my solar plexus so I can bring these guys back to alignment. That's just one example of how this plays out, how this works. This is fun, y'all.
Yeah, and I think that's important too, because like our intuition tells us certain things, and the more we honor that and listen to it, the stronger we build that connection. So you already have that really strong connection, so you knew. But sometimes it's hard to, in that day-to-day moment to like make that choice, especially when you have like nothing to validate that. So yeah, but we all make that mistake. We just keep moving forward.
Do you know Kumar and Jason?
Do I?
Yeah.
No.
They're talking about you look like the kind of person who uses a yoga ball. And I just didn't know if we've got trolls or if these were friends of yours, because I didn't want to block them if they're friends of yours.
I do not know them, and I don't know exactly. Oh, there's a yoga ball in the reflection. That's what I just realized. I'm like, oh, that's what it is. There's a yoga ball sitting next to me. So intuition, I'm not sure about that. But.
Okay, just we see it's in the window reflection. I'm just trying to figure out why that's the main topic of conversation about. Okay. Well, last but not least, all the way to the top with the crown chakra, your crown, your heads. What's going on in your heads, Lauren?
So this is where we connect to higher levels of consciousness. This is where we access something beyond the physical, tapping into either our higher selves or a higher power, however you find that connection. But it's something that's like the collective consciousness that we are all a little piece of. And when we're tuned into that, we realize it's more than just about us.
I always say your root chakra is about you. Your crown chakra is not just about us. It's also making the realization that you are made of the same exact molecules that are in the entire universe.
Yes.
And it's that humbling, that coming down, that getting off your high horse, but also the mystique and the amazement of like, I get to be here. I'm made of the same things that's made of the universe. And how lucky am I to be here to experience all of this?
Absolutely. And that's where we connect to astrology too, because it's like the planets are not something that affect us. The planets are us. Like they are a piece of who we are, the piece of like how we're connected to everything. And that's what's so powerful about it and how it relates so strongly in our physical and our energetic body.
Yeah. Let's get into the astrology. So I'm going to do some more plugging of you that may make you slightly uncomfortable, but I'm just going to be honest. So I had going into the new year, I had a reading with Lauren, and she went through my chart, and I've had astrology readings before, and I was like, okay, that's great. And I got it kind of, but with Lauren, I understood it, and there was a difference, and I felt more empowered because she explained it in a way that clicked and it resonated. So, and I've referred at least one person I know had a couple I've referred to Lauren, and they were like, holy shit, she's the truth. She's awesome. So, thank you for just your work and everything you do. Walk us. So we're going to go into, now that everybody has a basic understanding of the chakra system, that's going to come back in a few minutes. Let's talk about astrology, this Mercury retrograde. Break it down for us so we can understand what the cat snatching hell is going on right now, my friend.
Well, so most people heard about the great conjunction that happened at the end of December. And that was where Jupiter and Saturn moved into Aquarius and had this big meeting at the exact same degree point and moved out of Capricorn, where Saturn had been for the last 2.5 years, trolling around with Pluto, which we all saw what happened in 2020. It was a little bit of a disaster. And this new energy and movement that is now happening is all about Aquarius energy. And so you did say at the beginning of this practice that we picked this date very specifically, which we did. And the reason is that today, well, this evening, but also all the way up until tomorrow morning, is an Aquarius new moon. And what I think is so special and profound about this new moon versus all the new moons that we have over the course of the year is that, first of all, we have 6 planets that are with the moon and the sun in the sign of Aquarius, which is huge. We have Jupiter and Venus that are coming together at the same degree point tomorrow as well, which to me like screams Valentine's Day, because Jupiter wants to make everything feel abundant and bigger. And so it's like perfect timing. And we also have our Mercury retrograde also happening in the sign of Aquarius. So, and Saturn, of course, I mentioned is there too. There's just so much going on in Aquarius, and this is a new moon in Aquarius. Now, the reason that I think this is a really powerful new moon as well is that one of the storylines that's happening for 2021 is about a square, which is where 2 planets are 3 signs apart. So they're like at this place where they're kind of like having a conversation with each other, and it can be a challenging conversation, and it's not necessarily could be bad, but it's more of like they're challenging each other to like step up their game. And so Saturn and Uranus have been squaring each other. They're like right in that realm. And they're going to have 3 exact squares over the course of 2021. Now, what's interesting to me about these 2 planets squaring each other is that as far as traditional astrology goes, Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius. But as far as modern astrology goes, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So it's basically like a conversation of these 2 planets who both technically rule Aquarius, and them having this opportunity to kind of discuss Aquarian energy. And the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction that happened started a 200-year cycle where before these cycles were always happening in earth signs for the last 200 years. And now they are happening in air signs. And for those that don't know about air energy, air is communication, air is so I'm like, as you see Mercury retrograde, my voice is like, wait, what do I say? Especially with Aquarius, it's about technology. It's about moving forward, things moving much, much faster because air is much faster than earth. And so we're in this new phase of moving towards air, moving towards technology. And this is giving us opportunities to move into a new way of living. So it's a pretty exciting new moon, which again is tonight. And you mentioned also that new moons are very much about setting intentions. Because this is an Aquarian time, the intentions that we're setting tonight and tomorrow are going to take us much further than just this moon cycle. So I would say really sit with yourself tonight or tomorrow morning and consider ways in which you're ready to like move forward into new horizons, technology, communication, but really Aquarius energy is about helping the greater mankind. And I think that's the most important storyline that we are all moving towards.
And it's funny because I've been, for like one of my taglines in my video is, take care of yourself first. Then and only then can you take care of others. So then we can collectively take care of Mama Earth, i.e. the actual planet Earth in each other. And I stopped using it for a while because energetically I knew that it was a time where people needed to take care of themselves and really focus on themselves. And this was about late October. And I want to say just in the last week, Mama Earth said, Adrienne, bring it back. Start reminding everybody that it's okay. We need to start focusing on helping each other right now, helping each other get through it. And that may actually, for some, be the way that they take care of themselves is by helping others.
Yes, that is definitely a theme for right now is how can we help other people and not just be so self-centered and selfish, and how do we help the earth is exactly because we're all sharing this planet, no matter what your beliefs are, like we all live on this planet together and we need to do better.
Do better, girl. Do better, be better. Do you have a visual representation of what everything looks like? So now that you've explained it, can you show us? If you said like 6 of these kids are moving in conjunct in a line, and Saturn is with Neptune, and Neptune is hugging Venus, and can you show us what that looks like?
Let me find it. I'm looking for my screen. Hold on one second.
Okay.
So, that didn't work. Oh, there we go. No? I don't know if that's working.
Oh, yep. Give me 2 seconds. Well,
okay.
Joined in again.
Right?
Hold on. There you go.
Okay, so now I just click on the right one. There. Can you see that now?
Hold on. Oops. That didn't work. Oop. That didn't work either. Please hold. Oh, put it back in. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Add it back.
Hold on.
Lauren, are you vegetarian?
I am a vegetarian. Why is this a conversation?
Yeah, that's going on in the chat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how to click on the one. It's like it's only showing me the screen of what we have.
Try that.
Hold on, let me try again.
Okay. Mercury's in retrograde.
Exactly, right?
There you go.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so do I click on a different page now to bring it on?
There you go. It's full screen now.
Okay.
You can see
Okay.
and you can blow it up bigger if you want. We're good.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this because this is the only way that I can actually see that I'm on the right thing.
Okay.
But so here's our Aquarius energy that's happening right here. And all of these planets are in the sign of Aquarius besides Pluto. Pluto's in Capricorn, but from Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, the moon, Mercury, and the sun are all in the sign of Aquarius. Wow. And then what I was talking about with a square is here you see Uranus, and Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. And what Taurus and Aquarius have in common is that they are both fixed signs. And so when there's two fixed signs having a square, they are having this conversation about, trying to negotiate space, because fixed energy really wants to like hold on to things, and they're going to have to negotiate this conversation between them. The most important thing about this conversation between Uranus and Saturn, I'm going to stop sharing now just so I can see you guys, but Uranus is the planet of eccentricities. Uranus is like wants to break free of norms, and Uranus like wants new, it wants changes. Saturn is like the rule follower. Saturn is the boundary maker, and Saturn wants to like keep things stable, but Uranus wants to break free of old patterning. So when these two planets, especially being in fixed signs, are in this conversation, there's going to be some negotiating that happens. And again, this is going to happen 3 exact squares over the course of 2021. And the first one is happening next week. So February 18th. Ooh. Yeah. So that's, I mean, and it doesn't have to be a negative. And again, it's a conversation. So it's not like all of a sudden, like all hell's going to break loose on that day, but it's like, we're going to watch the storyline continue to play out, because the next meeting will be in June, and then the third meeting is not till December. So it's really like one of the main storylines through the whole year. So,
I like how you said conversations, and we're going to watch these conversations, like talking to each other.
Exactly. The planets are all having conversations. They're all, and that's exactly it. Not only are they having conversations, but they're all in relationship with each other. Just like our energy body is all it, like each chakra is, yes, it's a standalone, but you can't just focus, you can't just be all in one energy center. They are all having conversations with each other. And the more that we're able to access dialogue, the more that we find balance. And I think that's really the key.
So think of it, guys, as your heart chakra, your ability to give and receive love, and then your solar plexus chakra is your house of fire. Do you act in a way that is loving? If you wanted to, if those are both in balance, you are going to act in a loving manner. You're going to be able to go there. So that was just an example.
Exactly. I love that.
Tell me more about, or tell us more about how these chakras play with these horoscope, the zodiac signs. How are they aligned?
Well, so one of the first things that I think of when I think about our astrological signs is that there are air, as I said, which Aquarius is an air sign. There are earth signs, there are fire signs, and there are water signs. So there are 4 different elements that are present in the astrological makeup, and there's 3 of each of those signs. And so as we connect with our energetic body, we recognize that there is the root chakra is connected to earth energy. The sacral chakra is connected to water energy. The solar plexus is connected to fire energy, and the heart chakra is connected to air energy. So when I first think about the zodiac signs, I think about those first 4 chakras. And the reason why, again, would be related to, if they're earth signs, if they're water signs, air, and all that. However, something that I've studied a little bit about that I think is even more fascinating is connecting the planets to different parts of our energetic body. And when I started really delving into this concept, it makes so much sense for me, which is that our root chakra would connect to Saturn energy. And that's because Saturn energy is the boundary maker. Saturn keeps things rooted. Yeah, Saturn is just that really strong, really grounded energy. And so when I connect to it that way, then I think about, okay, who is ruled by Saturn? And that is Capricorn and technically Aquarius. And so I think that that is a really great way to connect the astrology into the energetic body. When you move into the sacral plexus could be connected to Jupiter. And again, this is just like one way of thinking about it, because I see the chakras and the zodiac signs can kind of be a mix and match. I don't think it's like an all or nothing.
Yes.
But what matters is how people can connect to that themselves so that they can access that energy. But the sacral chakra could be really easily connected to Jupiter, because Jupiter is very artistic and expansive and abundant and fluid, and that's very much sacral energy. And so yeah, and Jupiter with the sacral, and the signs that Jupiter rules are Pisces and Sagittarius. From there, yeah, I know it's a lot. And what I like about that too is that Pisces is water, so that one does make sense with the water. What were you going to say? Yeah,
I was going to throw shade, but
bring it.
But I'm not going to. So let's keep going. It's like
keep it moving.
Jupiter must be an emotional planet.
Here's the thing about Jupiter. Jupiter makes everything bigger. So it's like, if you have an emotion, Jupiter's going to blow it up, and make it a bigger thing. And again, we're going to talk a little bit more about how the chakras can play into the energy centers, because I do think there's some mix and match that can happen.
Okay.
But when we move from the sacral up to the solar plexus, so again, the solar plexus is our place of power. And the planet that's very associated with power is Mars. Mars is like really just is our energy body. Mars is our like strength. Mars is our willpower to like push forward. And Mars rules Scorpio and Aries. And Scorpio and Aries are both very like strong signs. And so that could be one way of really connecting with that space. From the solar plexus, we'd move up to the heart chakra, and the heart chakra would be connected to Venus, because Venus is all about love and connecting with ourselves and other people. And Venus rules Taurus, and Venus also rules Libra. And so when you think about connecting to the Venus planets, putting them in the heart chakra could be one way of accessing that energy. From the heart, we move up to the throat, and stop me at any time if you want to jump in.
I'm just digesting all of this. This is the first I've ever studied chakras in relation to planets. So this is very fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's there's a lot to consider with this. So the throat chakra, of course, is our place of communication. So it would be ruled by Mercury, because Mercury is our planet of communication. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. And so putting Gemini and Virgo as the signs who really like to communicate would make a lot of sense. From there, the third eye center, where we connect to this sense of guidance, the way that I've seen this placed is that the sun and the moon would both be housed there, and there would be this sense of balancing those two energies. We all have, of course, a sun sign. We also all have a moon sign, and we do want to find some balance between those, because our moon is our emotional self and our sun is our will. And so we want to have some sense of balance between those two. But the sun rules Leo and the moon rules Cancer. And so this could be a place where you would put Leo and Cancer would be in the third eye. And then with that, crown chakra would be considered not connected to a planet, because it's all the planets, it's everything. The way that this node It's like, it's all encompassing.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the way that I wanted to kind of touch on this also, was that's like a way that a lot of people view the zodiac signs in the chakras. But I also believe that it's very important to feel into these energies and see how they respond for different people. And for me, like the heart chakra is Taurus, as I said, but Taurus is also like a really like fixed, grounded, stable energy. So I also could access Taurus in my root chakra when I call upon Taurus energy. If that helps me in my brain tap into root energy, then that's the way that you could connect to that.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to deepen our understanding of each of the signs and what we know about them. And with that understanding, then we can better access how they work in our physical body.
Yeah.
Or our energetic body. Something else. Yeah, go ahead.
It's both.
Yeah,
the energetic body impacts the physical body.
100%. And what's really interesting about the physical body is that, and we didn't even touch on this, but the astrological signs also rule different parts of our physical body. And when you know this, they go in order from the head and face as Aries, all the way down to the soles of the feet as Pisces. Like they go, you know, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, they go in order of how they affect us physically. And so that could be another way that, you know, the physical, as you said, like they're intertwined. The physical body is intertwined with the energetic body. And so that could be another way that you access those energies.
Do you have a cheat sheet of all of this? Is there a cheat sheet? Is there a reference or resource?
Absolutely. There's, if you Google, you know, astrological signs and the chakras, there's definitely things that you can find that'll give you some guidance. I've seen one actually that was a picture of a person's body that I thought was really the best for people to digest it, because you can like physically see where these things play out in the physical body. And so that would be my suggestion.
Because what I want to do is give everybody a resource. So hold on. So here's one that I'm going to put in the chat for everyone, because I know as a healer, my brain is spinning. So I can't imagine how people who don't have an in-depth understanding and knowledge of, get along the chakra system, and then on top of that, astrology. Like Taurus is like Leo. Wait, is that Venus?
Totally.
Wait, there's a sun somewhere, and there's a Boogaloo chakra.
So true. I totally feel you. This is something that I'm working on on my YouTube page. I'm starting to do meditations that are going to be very focused on each astrological sign. And the purpose of those is that in meditation, we really like tune into ourselves. And through listening to my words about the astrology signs, I'm hoping to exactly what we said before, like demystify each of the signs and help you access that energy in your body. And that's the thing about this is that's why I said there's not a right or a wrong with this method. It's about how does that energy feel to me, and how can I help embody that energy so that I feel more balanced, whatever that means to me. So part of this is also knowing your chart. And so the more that you know your chart, which definitely is like an undertaking, but I cannot even express how much learning about your own personal astrology can affect you as a person, which is why I love doing readings for people, is that I want people to better understand themselves. And through that, it's like if you realize in your chart you have no planets in Earth, it's like, okay, well, that's the energy I need to access, because it doesn't come naturally to me. It happens a lot. Or some people have no fire. Some people have no water. You know, it's so you're like, I have none of all of it. But we all have, which is why you're such an amazing communicator, though. And so it's like, that's your superpower. It's not a bad thing. We got to use the gifts that we're given.
It's just funny, but yes, that's why I laugh, because you're right. It's a tool to help, not a tool to hinder.
100%. And that is what I see when I look at somebody's chart. I don't look at, oh, they're lacking in this, or this is like a major problem. I look at, well, wait, that's a gift and that's a gift. And if they learn how to tap into the gifts, and then if they learn how to pull energies where they're lacking, that's where the magic happens. And everybody is capable of accessing energies that aren't natural to them. It's about just finding the right tools, and that's the key. And so that's my whole thing, is helping people realize that there are tools, there are ways to connect to different energies. And the more that we know about our own chart, the more we feel empowered instead of confused.
Mm-hmm. I just heard, I just think I saw the more you know with the rainbow.
Yes, I love it.
That's, I mean, it's, yeah. My dad has always said, he's like, if the moon can cause if the moon causes or is responsible or shifts or something with the waves in the ocean, thank you, Todd. Told you, Mercury retrograde. What makes you think a planet isn't going to have the same amount of impact on you? You're nuts.
Yes.
It said that when I was little, and I was like, that's a good point. And the older I get, I'm like, he
knew
something,
Your dad's awesome. That's all I'm thinking, is like, what an awesome dad.
He's special sometimes. That's funny. What else do you have for us, Lauren, before we I want to open it up to questions in the chat. So if you guys have questions, start formulating, ruminating, and Lauren and I can do our best to answer them. But what else do you want? What other things that we need to learn and be aware of and teach ourselves about astrology and chakras?
I would say start small is the key, like finding the things that interest you. If you're interested in the moon, learn about the moon. If you're interested in Saturn, like whatever you're drawn to, there's a reason you're drawn to that. And so start there, I think, would be the first thing I would say. If there was one chakra that we mentioned tonight that you felt either like totally repelled by or totally drawn to, there's probably something there. And so I would just consider that. And maybe that just means sitting in meditation and, thinking about what came up for you when you heard us talking about a certain planet or a certain energy. Like, that's where I would start.
Yeah.
Considering. Mm-hmm.
I always tell people the chakra system is not difficult. It's very easy. And sometimes the best way is just to put one word. Don't worry about all the 22 attributions to whatever.
Yes.
Just focus on word. If you go root, security, sacral, emotion, solar plexus, action, heart, love, throat, communication, third eye, psychic, crown, universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. You are now a chakra expert. It's not that hard.
Yes, exactly. It's all about making it bite-sized pieces that help you digest it so that you can then use that for your own healing, your own tools. You don't need to be an expert. And this is what I always say to people in their readings. Whenever I had a reading with someone today, and I said something like, she's like, oh, well, that's exactly what my gut was telling me. And what I said to her was, you already knew the answer. You're asking me because you want that confirmation, but like, your energy body already told you what you needed to know. And of course, listen, sometimes we want to have that confirmation, but the truth is that, and that's okay. That's awesome. And sometimes we just need somebody to hold space for us to uncover our own truths. And to me, that's like the best of what I do, is I hold space for people to feel empowered and be the best versions of themselves. But the answers are within you. And I think I always want to relay that message to people over and over again, that like the messages are within you. You just have to sit with it and listen. Yeah. And that takes practice.
It takes to trust yourself, to align.
Yes, exactly.
That third eye chakra, this beautiful purple indigo color, supposed to be indigo, and this fire, this solar plexus chakra with this yellow, aligning these guys, not here, but gradually bring them closer. And guys, it's okay. Sometimes it'll do this again. I'm a freaking healer. I didn't listen to my own intuition. It happens, but we're human. And that's what I love about as Prince says, let's talk about this thing called life, right? We get a do-over, and now every day I get to go, you know what? Let's bring these closer back together. So I see you've got some questions ruminating. So I'm going to start in the order in which I saw the questions, and I saw Lucky Girls first, and it made me cackle, and I had to make sure to cackle while you were talking. Why does Mercury retrograde hate us so much?
Mercury retrograde does not hate us. It's all about our own illusions around it. But Mercury retrograde is all about reconsidering and revisiting. And so it's a time for internal reflection, and but it's challenging. And with our society, we are always wanting to like move forward. And Mercury retrograde is like, no, like let's pause. Let's hold off for a minute. And so, yeah, I saw her comment too, and I was also laughing. So I love it.
And Jace Arnage, if you guys are not subscribed to her, please subscribe. Jace said it really well Saturday night when we did Petty Party. And she was like, this is Mercury retrograde. The whole point of a Mercury retrograde is for you to sit your behind down and to reflect. And some people cannot, the sitting with themselves triggers everything, but it forces you. It is this time, whether you want it to or not, you can't escape it. It forces you to sit with yourself.
That is exactly it.
Sit with yourself. Be your own company. It's okay. I'm funny sometimes, so I'm okay.
All the time.
When I yelled at one of my employees. We got another question from Joe. Wants to know, should you place a crystal on your third eye position to meditate? If so, which ones?
Okay, my answer for that would be, it depends what your goal is for meditation. So if you are meditating and you're really trying to access your own intuition, then yes, like that would be a really positive placement. As far as which crystal, I'm not a crystal expert. I would say I use crystals all the time, but I wouldn't say that I know exactly which one would go with that. I would call out a purple crystal or something in the purple color of that.
Tiger's eye.
Oh, tiger's eye could be perfect too. Oh, tiger's eye. See, I think of tiger's eye as solar.
You can use tiger's eye.
That would make sense though. That would make sense because there's that exactly. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I was thinking amethyst was where my head was going, but also like a quartz crystal for cleansing could be
never go wrong with quartz.
100%, you can never go wrong. So yeah.
When in doubt, your two go-to crystals: quartz, black obsidian.
I so feel you on that. It's so true.
Your go-tos.
My other comment on that would be, if you're trying to access a different energy center in your meditation, putting crystals on that other energy center would for sure be helpful. So it doesn't have to be your third eye. If you're wanting to access your solar plexus, put it on your solar plexus and lie down. All of those would be possible options of placing it somewhere where you can feel that extra energy.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to ask a question and I don't remember what it was because my brain.
Because Mercury retrograde.
Mercury retrograde, cats, that communication is big. It was going to be Mercury. Why does Mercury retrograde also impact things like travel, making plans?
Yeah, well, it's all about the communication of computers and things of that nature, but Mercury also rules technology. And so, if you make travel plans, then you booked something on the computer, then you're going to want to, confirm and double check. It's also like paperwork is also part of that conversation. Contracts, if you're signing contracts during Mercury retrograde, it doesn't mean don't sign it. I'm not saying you can't stop your life, especially because Mercury goes retrograde multiple times a year, but you want to make sure that you read it and reread it and just really Make sure that you're considering all of the languaging and all of that. But I am not one of those people who says, don't do anything during Mercury retrograde.
It's impossible.
That's impossible. Exactly. And another client that I was working with recently, she's in the process of going through a divorce. And she asked me yesterday, like, what about filing the paperwork tomorrow? She's like, I'm concerned because of Mercury retrograde. And I was like, you already started this process a long time ago. You didn't, I said, I wouldn't start a new process today. Like, I wouldn't do that. But the ball's already rolling, and therefore Mercury's just asking us to reconsider. Like, are you sure you still want to get divorced? And those kind of questions, which she was sure. So, and then I looked at other parts of her chart and I was like, tomorrow is a great day for you to do that, because she had other points on her chart that told me the energy was perfect and it's a new moon. So yeah.
One thing too, and I know you said this earlier, but I just want to reiterate it as well.
Yeah.
Depending on the positions of the other planets, each Mercury retrograde will be different. So the Mercury retrograde that happens at the end of the year, which is the one closest to my birthday, fucks my whole life up. That's the one where I have a bigger impact on technology, traveling, what have you. The one that happens earlier in the year, that's when, or whenever the one that lines up with more Pisces, that's the one where I'm super weepy, emotional, and I really have to spiritually kind of step back. This is why Lauren's on with us tonight, because it's all about the planet alignments and how how the Mercury retrograde impacts everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Mercury retrogrades, they change signs every year. So it's not always the same. So this year it's all in air signs, just like we moved into that great conjunction. And so air signs, again, is communication. So it's kind of a double whammy. So I would just this is like, you want to reread your emails before you send it. Make sure when you send somebody a text message, you're sending it to the right person. Just like small things like that. But yeah, for travel, which, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not traveling. Travel's not what you are. I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. Where are you going? No, is it for work?
Or is it personal? We'll talk later.
No. Okay.
I'm not excited. I'm just not excited to travel during Mercury retrograde during a pandemic.
Oh, shit. Excuse my language.
In the city that just had the Super Bowl, or to the city.
Oh, no. Yeah. Bring some sage all that energy, bring lots of extra masks, like all that. Yes, bring your own products. Like you have the right equipment. But yeah, you just want to, I love it. You just want to be extra prepared.
Yeah. I just went and bought, why do I have to take my head back to look at it? It's like I had to verify something. I bought extra alcohol wipes, extra 15, because I'm just like, you know what? I'm probably going to lose these by the time it's Sunday.
Right.
And this
be prepared.
This is how you work through a retrograde. You just know, I know this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I need to prepare for this.
Mm-hmm.
So. Mm-hmm. We got another really good question. Does Mercury retrograde affect all signs equally, or one sign more than another, or just Virgos?
Just Virgos. Well, Virgos would be a little bit more affected based on the fact that Mercury rules Virgo. Mercury also rules Gemini. So like if you're a Gemini or a Virgo, you'll feel it in certain ways, but it also depends on what other planets you have in those signs. But most importantly, it depends on what planets you have in the sign where Mercury is retrograde. So right now, Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius, and any planets that you have in Aquarius are going to be extra affected. So I think that's important to note. And again, all of the retrogrades for 2021 are going to be in air signs. So if you have lots of planets that are in air, you are going to have a little extra Mercury retrograde fun.
So much fun. We got another really good question.
Okay.
Karma wants to know: is it okay to ask the protective white light to remain activated all day? So is it okay to call in your archangels, particularly Archangel Michael, or ask to cloak yourself in a shield of protection all day?
That is a really interesting question. I haven't really considered that, because I am not good about accessing the same energy all day. My energy kind of changes throughout the day. but I wouldn't say that there's a reason that that would be incorrect, especially if you're somebody who's like very empathic and you take on other people's energy very easily, then you are somebody who would want to kind of put yourself in a bubble. Maybe that's something I should consider because I am an empath, and maybe I should be asking. I don't have an exact answer for that, but my gut response would be, if you feel that you need that, then there's nothing wrong with asking for protection.
I have a technical answer, and the technical answer is no, that's not a problem. Archangel Michael is his job. His job is to protect us. And there is an actual ritual you can do where you you call in Archangel Michael, and you stand in the middle of your in the center of your medicine wheel, and you call in rainbow obsidian and rose quartz and all of your crystals, and you call them into your medicine wheel and you hold them. Then you put up swords as a barrier of protection. Then you put mirrors facing outside, so whatever energy that's sent to you is repelled and sent back to the sender. And then you put in white light, and there's an actual ritual. Yes, how I described it made it sound long AF. It takes a second. You can even go, hey, once you've done it enough times and you have a ritual, you can actually wake up and go, activate my Archangel Michael safety sphere. And that's it. So yes, you can. I encourage you to, because that's his job. That's why he signed his contract, to be our protector, and call on him. That's what he's here for.
I love that. Yeah. I'll tap into those things either in the morning or at night, but it's not something that I tap back into during the day. And thank you for bringing that question up, because it's something for me to like reconsider on how I call in more of that protection throughout the day.
I used to do it. I was in a very toxic work environment, and I had to do it every time I went on calls with certain people or in meetings with certain people. And sometimes I would meet with certain people back to back every day, and I actually would have to do a ritual and call him in, because they were not the best. Their intentions were not. They were lower vibration, and it could be very easy to either get sucked down, just weighed down. Not that I would match their stank assness, but it's just good. So yeah. I was talking. Are there any other? Did I miss any questions? I think we are good. So yes, it's okay to protect yourself in bubble wrap. It is okay to call on your archangels. I put some learning materials for those of you who are interested in the chat. I put the 2 links there, can help you learn. One is more just a general understanding of the chakra system. Each paragraph is like 3 sentences, so it's not long reading. The second one is the same thing, and then it adds on which planets are attached to each chakra, so you'll get to spend a few minutes with the interwebs. If you want to learn more about your astrological sign, like Lauren said, there's a moon and a crescent and a butthole and all these other things that make you very uniquely you. There's a link to Lauren's booking site in the description. Book an appointment with her. I'm not saying this because she's my friend. I'm saying this because she's legit. I also don't refer people to other healers if they are not legit. And I have referred multiple people to Lauren, and they have great things to say. So check her out. Also check out her YouTube channel, which is also in the description. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight. And before we end, I want to, I almost forgot. I said I was going to bring 14 cents to this reading. I need to make sure I do my end of the bargain. And I wanted to have a message. I wanted to ask Spirit, what chakra do we need to focus on tonight going into the new moon? And I want to do that using one of my 14 chakra decks. Okay, I don't have 14. That'd be lovely. And see what card we get. Solar plexus chakra and divine wisdom. This could not be more perfect. We have given you some tools that will help you educate yourself, empower yourself, so you can ascend to a higher vibration. Divine wisdom. Use the learnings that you get from tonight. Ask for divine wisdom before you go to bed. Ask for it to come and sit and align in your solar plexus chakra. So when you wake up in the morning, you can take action and feel more empowered to do whatever it is that you're supposed to do. But ask for that divine wisdom. Ask for spirit to come in, illuminate your house of fire, your solar plexus chakra, so you can go take action. So tonight's mantra is divine wisdom with solar plexus chakra. One more. I'm going to ask. I'm pulling from the Ask Your Guides deck. And I'm going to ask guides, what specific message? Should we just ask for what chakra? Now let's ask what message the spirit have as it pertains. I just saw a divine, I'm going to ask for a divine layaway plan.
Me too. That one got me also.
Oh, trust leches. I can't with you. Okay. Imagination. This is perfect. Tonight's about setting plans so you can start manifesting using your imagination. Act like a child. Remember how we were when we were kids and we could have our pretend friends or go play house and imagine all of these amazing things that were not in our reality. It was our way to escape. Do that again tonight. Use your imagination so you can set up and start thinking of anything that you'd like to manifest and bring in and call into spirit going into this new moon. With that, I wish each and every one of you peace, love, and blessings tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lauren and I will be back in March. We'll figure out a topic that's relevant as we get closer to the date. Until then, guys, much love. Thank you to Larry, Lucky Girl, for helping me with the trolls earlier.
Thank you.
Love and
thank you all so much.
Guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye, guys.